This is Hannibal here from The Hannibal TV on YouTube with a daily wrestling news update. A lot of news to get into today. Chris Jericho is likely returning to WWE tomorrow night on Raw, according to most reports, after an overall disappointing run in AEW where they haven't used him since April, and they just benched him the last part of his contract. But he once wrestled Mickey Rourke, the guy that played the wrestler in the movie The Wrestler. He wrestled him at a WrestleMania. And Mickey Rourke is in the news because he apparently pays rent at a place that is over $7,000 a month in rent, and he's having problems paying rent. So he's open to GoFundMe. But before I get into that, let's just look at his personal assistant / male companion's Instagram here. I mean, his personal assistant is rich enough that he's wearing these fancy clothes on a beach, living it up on a beach. So he has enough, obviously, to still dress very stylish and pay his personal assistant pretty well. But let's take a look at how his actual GoFundMe is going. Now, I wish people would donate to the real poor people or all of these poor animals out there. He's got almost 36,000 raised now. So, I mean, he's got over 90 movies in the can since the 70s. You would think that the residuals alone would pay you a good chunk of money. I know he's in Tank Abbott's favorite movie, Barfly. I think The Wrestler was overrated overall. I didn't particularly like The Wrestler, but it was still one of the most successful wrestling movies out there. But I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff. Been an Iron Man. I mean, the residuals off of Iron Man 2 must be pretty huge. Not another church movie, Man of God, The Commando, War Hunt. I mean, he's been in Sin City. I mean, I guess anyone can go and beg for money. But Trisha Morrison made this post. She's a friend of mine. Of course, Tommy Morrison's widow. I guess Tommy Morrison was good friends with Mickey Rourke. Of course, they were both actors. Mickey Rourke was a boxing fan. He would not help bail Tommy Morrison out of jail when Tommy Morrison needed help. So that tells you what kind of a friend Mickey Rourke is. Also, I remember Jim Duggan saying that he had a real attitude at that WrestleMania, and he even, I guess, actually bumped into Jim Duggan at one of these WrestleManias, and then Jim Duggan kind of stood up to him for that, and then all of his bodyguards. Again, he had bodyguards, for crying out loud. So I guess it's up and down like a roller coaster for him. In other wrestling news, beyond, I guess, the 55-year-old Chris Jericho jumping to WWE, probably tomorrow night. That's pretty bad when the most exciting thing in wrestling is a 55-year-old's switching companies. Could you imagine if during the Attitude Era, Bruno Sammartino was going to come back? Just wouldn't have happened because the current product was entertaining enough. But, I mean, this is where we're at. Chris Jericho, almost 60, making his return is the biggest thing of the month in wrestling. The other big thing is another guy that's been pretty much collecting a paycheck in AEW overall, the highest paid announcer in wrestling, Jim Ross, took some heat from Devon Dudley for saying that he found Jim Ross to be racist. This was really, I know that a lot of people accuse Jim Ross's good friend Bill Watts of being racist over the years. for various reasons. But the fact is, it was very racist in the 80s in wrestling. And from what I understand, thank God, overall things have changed. But there's lots of documentation of guys like Flair and Dusty Rhodes openly calling people the N-word. That was just, it wasn't, if you could get away with it back then. I mean, look at it. Flair and Dusty were also very good friends with Dick Murdoch, who was supposedly a Grand Master in the KKK. So that tells you what type of people they were. We've had Kamala speak out against them, and Teddy Long has said, numerous people have said it. Bill Dundee and Jerry Jarrett have said it about Ric Flair throwing it around. But I guess we haven't heard it much from Jim Ross himself, and he's flat out denying that he ever discriminated against Devon Dudley, and went far enough to say that Devon is making it up to get attention, and he suggested that Devon is perhaps not happy in his life and not as successful as Bubba Ray Dudley, which Devon, I guess, took offense to and has responded further to Jim Ross saying, you didn't encounter what I have encountered, haven't been through what I've been through. He doesn't appreciate Jim Ross's attitude. And of course, Jim Ross feels that Devon should have said something earlier. Of course, I will say this for Devon. Yeah, he didn't say anything earlier, but he's in a place now where he can really say whatever he wants, and he doesn't have to worry about losing jobs because he's successful in life. Again, he's bringing it up now. Who knows? I'm just reporting on it. Do I believe that Jim Ross could have been as close as he was with Bill Watts without having some of that side to him? Who knows? Who knows? I've never met Bill Watts myself. I've only heard story after story that yes, he did push African Americans, but he didn't treat them well. But I also hear that he didn't really treat anybody well, other than his son Eric. Eric will be the first to tell you the story about how he beat up Rick Rude. That nobody will confirm this story but Eric Watts for whatever reason. Not gonna comment on that. I don't know enough about it. Yeah, WWE is gone from Peacock. It's over now with Peacock. Yes, Mickey Rourke was in Iron Man. Correct. Do I think Netflix will drop WWE? Well, they've just finished their first year out of a 5-year deal where they have the option of staying with it or not. It's at the point now where in December, I think there was 3 times in December it did not make the top 10 shows for the week, which is, of course, why I think they really want to do the Jericho debut on a Raw, to make sure that the Raw gets a good number. Because yes, I do think that obviously it wasn't a good deal for Peacock. Peacock didn't renew. We hear that ESPN is not happy with the deal. There's already talk WWE might be selling to Saudi Arabia. They already have the Saudi Arabia logo on the canvas. So do I think they're going to remain as overpaid as they are as time goes on? No, and I don't think AEW is either. It'll be interesting to see if AEW even lasts the 5 or is it 3 years? I think that they're in with WBD right now, 3 years. But WBD just lost $11 billion. They made a terrible deal with AEW, and AEW is getting like 0.04s for Collision and 0.08s for Dynamite. They're absolutely bombing. Someone says they live where Glenn Jacobs is mayor, I believe, in Knox County, Tennessee. Someone says UFC is on Paramount now. I mean, UFC, they need a new star in UFC. I'd rather, if I had to sit through a show between AEW, WWE, and UFC, right now I would choose UFC. But really, I don't have any interest in watching anything but the highlights, and there's not even really anything that piques my interest at all right now in UFC. Someone says they were always a fan of Rourke. I just don't think he. I mean, I guess anyone has the right to go to GoFundMe, but please, people, donate to causes for people that deserve it. Don't donate to a guy that's done 90 movies and is getting residuals and could actually work a regular job and is paying a personal, is still dressing like a top celebrity and has a, I don't know if it's, remember a lot of people were saying Johnny Fairplay was Piper's personal assistant. Well, I guess it's common for Hollywood people to have personal assistants. Stop hating, you jabroni. I'm not hating. Well, I guess I could say, yeah, I am hating against him because there's people that are more deserving of the money. I will be honest. I think people should deserve to donate to starving people rather than Hollywood or pets that are going to die if they don't get treatment or legitimate medical fundraisers. There's a lot of illegitimate ones in wrestling. I mean, I even heard at one point Rick Bassman did a $50,000 GoFundMe for a book that never came out. Abdullah the Butcher's put out a bunch of GoFundMes that have been proven questionable. There's a lot of weird stuff in the wrestling world. Favorite Royal Rumble, I guess I would have to say 89. With the infamous pose down between Rick Rude and the Ultimate Warrior, who's one of my favorite wrestlers. That was a great pose down. That was the best part of Royal Rumble 89. Do I know Kane other than seeing him wrestle? No, I don't know him. I do know Tim Burchett, though, from Tennessee. He's my favorite U.S. politician. The Ragu Overlord is a fan of Vince Russo. I don't know which Harley Davidson you're talking about. I am friends with a Harley Davidson, who I may do an interview with at some point. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think about Mickey Rourke's GoFundMe for his $7,000 a month rent when he has literally residuals from 90 movies coming in. Do I like slap fighting or arm wrestling? I find them absolutely boring, both of them. I didn't mind the over-the-top movie, but I'm not a fan. I actually feel bad for slap fighting people that need the money bad enough to literally get brain damage without the ability to protect themselves. So billionaires can just keep making money off of you getting slapped. Yes, you have to be tough and stuff. I respect you for your toughness, but I don't think it's healthy to do that. Rourke says Rourke was in the Marlboro Man movie. Why is Rourke? I don't know what's going on with him. I don't think he's scamming people. You would have to be just a big fan of his to pay him money at this point, because I'm sure if he really wanted to make the rent payments, he could. Yes, he has sabotaged his movie career multiple times. I agree. Will I ever interview Rick Martel? Probably. Wish everyone a wonderful night. Check out this